Okay, so in the last video, like what we did is we practice one set, set number one, for the AWS Cloud Practitioner exam. So this is set two. This is also at like 65 question, and a few question might be you will see some repetitive, but some are the new questions, and we will try to attempt all this question. And uh, at the end of the video, we only able got to know like how much we did correct or how much we did wrong. So let's try to attempt. So question number one, which of the following statements are correct regarding the availability zone specific characteristics of EBS and the EFS storage types? Okay. So EBS volume can be attached to a single instance. Definitely correct, because EBS volume we can't attach into the multiple instance. So we already show in practical in like one of my video. So let's try to eliminate EBS volume can be attached to single instance. Okay, EBS volume can be attached to one or more instance. So this third is wrong. EBS volume can be attached to one or more instance. So second and thirds are wrong. So only first and the fourth could be the option. So EBS volume can be attached to a single instance in the same availability zone. Okay. Whereas EFS file system can be mounted on instance across multiple availability zones. Okay. EBS volume can be attached to a single instance in the same availability zone, and EFS file system can be mounted on instance in the same availability zone. Here it says multiple availability zone. So EFS can be mounted on instance store in the multiple availability zones as well. So first is the right answer. Okay, so this is a repetitive question. It looks an intern and IT and company provisioned a Linux-based operating system per second billing, but terminated within 30 seconds. So what is the duration of the charge? So basically, if you try to spin up an EC2 instance for 30 seconds, so for how many seconds you need to pay? Generally, we think it should be the 30 seconds, but the minimum time we need to pay is for the 60 seconds. So answer is 60 seconds. So next is which of the following AWS service can use to connect a company on-premise environment to the VPC using the public internet without using the public internet. Sorry. So we need to basically connect our own premises environment with the AWS using the without using the public internet. So site-to-site VPN is one of the option. Internet gateway is totally incorrect. Imagine VPC is incorrect. So there are two options: direct connect and site-to-site. So site-to-site, if we use the site-to-site VPN, then it use the public internet. But question is without using the public internet, then we use the AWS direct connect, in which the AWS will uh, put some wires. A startup wants to provision an EC2 instance for the lowest possible cost, okay, for long-term duration, but needs to make sure that instance would never be interrupted. Okay, so which option we would recommend it? So EC2 instance. So out of the option we could see for the lowest cost. So for the lowest cost, generally we have the two options: reserved instances, the spot instances. But there's a long-term duration. So spot instances are those instances like if you spin up those instances, it is the lowest cost, but it can be terminated anytime. All right, but we want the for the long duration, it should never be interrupted. So it could be the reserved instances because we will get like 75% of the we need to pay 75% less. So it kind of a discount. So a DevOps teams at an e-commerce company is trying to debug performance issue for its serverless application. And which AWS service? So basically to debug any kind of performance issue for any application, we usually use the X-ray. Which tool service will help you access AWS service using programmatical language APIs? So if we want to use the AWS service using our coding language, maybe Java, Python, .NET, any coding language, which service? So we will use the software development kit like Boto 3. We will not use the CLI for the programming. We will not use the ID is something different. So not use the console. So it's the software development kit. According to the AWS shared responsibility model, which of the following are the responsibility of the AWS? Okay, so what are the responsibility of the AWS? Enable multi-factor authentication? No. Replacing faulty hardware? Definitely, because the hardware is maintained by the AWS. So if it is faulty, then they will replace. Creating IAM roles? No. Maintaining Amazon S3 data in different availability zones to keep it durable? Yes. Creating S3 bucket policy? No. So basically, when you put the data into the Amazon S3 bucket, so it automatically replicate to the some another replicate to another availability zone. Right, so this is automatically feature, like maintaining AWS Amazon S3 data in different availability zones to keep it durable. So we need to select two. So second and fourth could be correct answer. Which of the following S3 storage class take the most time to retrieve the data? So basically, the Glacier, so it's the deep archive. So from the option only we got to know a deep archive. So it's a low cost, but it will take more time to retrieve the data. A cyber forensic team has detected that AWS owned IP addresses are being used to carry out malicious attacks as the constitute prohibited use of AWS, which was the following the correct solution to address the issue. So basically, what the question is saying, let's suppose if you are using the AWS services, but you're using the AWS service, so your intention is wrong. Like you need to spam, you need to hack some another computer. So your intention is wrong, and someone found like your IP, like so from this IP you are doing some DDoS attacks or malicious attacks. So to whom that person will report, whoever the find, whether he will drop the email to the Jeb Bezos, whether he will like contact the abuse team, or he will just post it into the forum, or he will contact to the support team. So correct is the abuse team. So there is an abuse email, right? So we have that there's one email, I think abuse amazonaws.com. So there is a one email address. We need to drop an email to them, and we need to convey. So this is the IP address, and it looks like malicious, and it is trying to hack our system, or like sending some like malicious information to our system. So which of the following AWS services support reservation to optimize cost? Okay, so what are the service we can reserve to optimize the cost? So one is the EC2 instance, all right? So if we reserve the cost, we will save 75%. And other is the database. So if we reserve the database, then we can do the RDS. So RDS and the DynamoDB are the database. S3, whatever the data we will store, only we need to pay. So these three looks the correct answer. A company wants to move to AWS cloud and release new feature with quick iteration by utilizing relevant AWS services which is required. So which of the characteristics? So AWS has like very characteristics, like it's agile, it's reliable, it's scalability, it's elasticity. So the feature is we want to move to the AWS and release. We want to release some new feature with quick iterations. So which serve like characteristics is come under the first line. So if we know the meaning, then we can easily understand. So scalability, we already know, like we need to scale our system. But in this case, we are not saying that scaling the system. We are saying we are like just deploying, but it is very quick. Right. So scalability, so reliability means like the system is reliable. All right. So fault tolerant or something like that. So this is also incorrect. Elasticity means well, like, if we take the elasticity example, so we generally we think of rubber. So we can expand it, we can release it, right? So similarly, the elasticity means like we can use the EC2 instance, we can terminate the EC2 instance. So that is also wrong. So agility means flexibility, very quick. Like the person is very agile, very quick, and we want to do the quick iteration. So it's come under the agility. Which of the following AWS services has encryption enabled by default? So which service has the encryption enabled by default? So answer is CloudTrail log. The reason is because in the CloudTrail logs, we got to know like who is using which API, who is doing which thing. And that is basically that logs are used for the audit purpose. So these are automatically encrypted, because if it is not encrypted, then anyone can modify it, right? So CloudTrail logs. Under the AWS shared responsibility model, which of the following is shared responsibility of both AWS and the customer? Okay. Guaranteed data separation among various AWS customer, no. Infrastructure maintenance, definitely no. Availability zone, no. Configuration management is the correct. Configuration is the responsibility of both AWS and the customer, because customer will do the configuration of their own services, like I need 20 GB of RAM or 30 GB of RAM. So this configuration, correct? I need this operating system in the EC2, and AWS will do the configuration at their end. So configuration management is the shared responsibility between the both AWS and the customer. It's not only for the customer, not for the AWS. Which of the following is an AWS database service? So database service is like Redshift, because database migration service is just to a service to migrate the data securely from one on-premise to the cloud. So glue is the like ETL, like if we need to is a like a end-to-end service. We will extract the data, we will transform the data, we will load the data. So it's a storage gateway is like is not a database service, or Redshift is the database service. A data analytics company is running a proprietary batch analytics application on AWS. Okay, so a company is running some batch and want to use a storage service. Okay, which would be accessed by 100 of EC2. Okay, simultaneously. Okay, so which service? So the question is, which one will you we can attach with 100 of EC2? So EFS, because EBS can only attach with a single instance. So EFS, file storage system, we can attach with the 100 of EC2. Question number 16. A financial service company wants to ensure that its AWS account activity meet the governance, compliant, and audit norms. So CloudTrail, I like just few questions back I told you na. So in the CloudTrail, which we see the logs, like who terminated the instance, who created the instance, who deleted this bucket, who using that API, who logged in. So all kind of audit, compliance, governance purpose, we can use the CloudTrail. Okay, a company want to have control over creating and using its own keys. So company want to use the own key. So what is the use case? So that is the customer managed CM key, because secret manager is to store the key. AWS may owned no, AWS managed no, customer managed. A medical research startup, okay, wants to understand the compliance of AWS service concerning HIPAA guidance, okay, which AWS says when you review the HIPAA compliance and governance related documents. So they said that like there are some documents, some compliance documents, and company wants to read that document. So from where they will read? So the document store on the artifact. So like they can go to the artifact and they can read the document. It's not the system manager, not the secret manager, not the trust. So it's the artifact, because they want to read the documents. Okay, compared to the on-demand price, what is the highest possible discount for the sport instances? So for the sport instances, the higher discount is 90. For the reserved instances, we get the 75, but the sport means I want to use my application is fault tolerant. So I want to use, but my EC2 instance can be like terminate anytime. So only for the fault tolerant application, we can use the sport instances, because we can get the 90% of like discount. AWS Web Application Firewall offers protection from common web exploits at which layer? Okay, so there is a service WA Web Application Firewall. So it protects our web application, but at which layer? So generally, the website how we run the website by using HTTP or HTTPS. So the HTTP layer work on the like layer 7. So this layer will protect our website. So it means it protect on layer 7 only. A company needs a storage solution for a project, okay, wherein data is accessed less frequently, but needs rapid access whenever required. Okay. So means they are saying we want to access like data very, very less frequently, but whenever we need very quick. So we can't store in the glacier, because if you store in the glacier less frequently, okay, but to retrieve it will take time. So standard is normal standard. So it's not for the less frequently. So the correct answer is infrequent access. Like we have to access, but it is infrequent. Like, and it is standard as well. Which of the following AWS services support VPC endpoint gateway for a private connection from a VPC? Okay, so there are like the two like VPC endpoint. One is I think the instance, or one is the gateway. Right. So for the instance, it come under the Amazon EC2, SQS, SNS, but for the gateway, it could be the DynamoDB and the S3. A project manager working on AWS for the first time, okay, is confused about how credits are used in AWS. There are two credits available in the manager account. Credit one is $100, which is going to expire in July, and can be used for S3 and EC2. Okay, credit 2 is $50 and expire in December. Can be used only for Amazon EC2. Okay, Amazon the manager AWS account has incurred two charges, $1,000 and $500. Okay, what will be the outcome on the overbill? Okay, so basically the question is like in our account we can load some wallet balance, right? So or like whenever I have like if we create the free account, so you get some credit, right? So they said he see two credit. One is a $100 credit in their account. Already the credit is there, right? So there is nothing to pay with their like a credit card or debit card. Already credit is loaded into their AWS account, but it is going to expire in July and can be used for S3 and EC2. And there is second more credit, $50. So he see two credits, $50, but which is going to expire in December. So this credit one is expiring very early, but credit two expiring very late. And but credit two only can be used for EC2. Okay. The manager and at the end, the manager see like he has to pay $1,000. So how he will pay? Like whether he will pay $1,000 directly like from his debit card, or will the 100 will use from the credit which from the wallet and 900 from the EC2. So how basically it will work? So only one credit can be used in one billing cycle, and the customer has choice to choose. So this is wrong. Credit 2 is applied. This is totally wrong. Credit 1 is applied, which expires in July to the Amazon EC2 charge, which leaves you with the $900 Amazon EC2 and charge and $500 Amazon S3 charge. The credit 2 is applied. No, credit 1 is applied, which expire in July, which leaves you with the to the S3. Okay. So basically, if he has a bill of $1,000, definitely $100 will be paid from the wallet and $900 will be paid from his bank or also bank account or credit card, whatever. Along with that, this is a property of AWS. Whatever the credit which is going to expire soon, that will be used first. So credit one always be used first, right? So wherever it is mentioned, credit two will be used. So that is totally wrong. So only three options at first, third, and fifth. That is the credit one. So credit one will be used for Amazon S3 and EC2, and credit two for $50 for EC2. So how it will be used? So it will based upon the service or Amazon EC2. So credit one is applied, which is expiring in July. That is definitely correct, because that credit will be used, which is going to expire soon, and it will use for the Amazon EC2. And he has bill for $1,000 for Amazon EC2. So $100 deducted from wallet. So $900 he has to pay for the Amazon EC2. All right. And a $500 Amazon S3 charge. So $500 for the Amazon S3 charge, because $100 we already used from here. So nothing zero for the S3, but because this $50 for the EC2. So nothing for the like because we can use only for one wallet at a time, not a two wallet. Okay. So this looks correct. And along with that, credit one is applied, which expires in July to Amazon S3 usage. Okay. So credit one can be applied if credit one will apply to S3, let's suppose, rather than the EC2. So $100 will be used. So for the S3, he has to pay for $500 and $1,000 for the EC2. So that looks correct. So third and fifth looks correct to me. But we will go to know at the end of the video how many correct and how many wrong. Which of the following the most cost effective option to purchase EC2 reserved instances? Okay. So reserved instances is generally for the long term. And what is the most cost effective, like in which we will get more advantage? So partial upfront payment with standard three terms, no upfront payment, all upfront payment, no upfront. So wherever it is written on no upfront payment, that is totally wrong. No upfront payment means we are not giving any advance. So definitely if we are not giving any advance, we will not get any much advantage. So either the partial upfront or the all upfront, we are giving some partial payment, and or we are giving all the payment. So but in the all payment it is mentioned only for 1 year, but partial is for 3 years. So we will go with the partial for 3 years, and in this we will get the more like advantage. That is the more cost effective option. Okay, which AWS service can help to retrieve alerts? So for the alerts we have the budgets. A startup want to set up its IT infrastructure on AWS cloud. Okay, the CTO would like to get an estimate of the monthly bill based on the AWS service that the startup want to use. So startup is not on the AWS cloud. Startup wants to use the AWS cloud. So he's not on the AWS cloud. So if he's not on the AWS cloud, budget is wrong, cost and user report is wrong, cost explorer is wrong. So only the pricing calculator, because he is thinking to go to the cloud. So he want to compare the price. So it's the pricing calculator. Which AWS service can be used to mitigate DDoS attacks? So there is a one service, AWS Shield, which can be used, which prevent us for the DDoS attack. A company wants to improve the resiliency of the flagship application, so it wants to move from its traditional database system to a managed database. Okay, but to support so this is a repeated question from the previous set. So it to support active configuration. Active configuration, I told you. So database is running on two servers and both the servers are active. So which option is the correct? So we have the Amazon DynamoDB with the global table is the correct, the right answer, which is fitting. Which AWS support plan provides architecture guidance category business? So this support planner, definitely you will get maybe one or two questions regarding the support plans. So in the exam, so basically we have the four level of support plan. One is the basic, which is like default. Whenever we create the account, we have the basic level of support plan. The other is developer. The third is business, and then the enterprise. Enterprise is like very advanced. First is basic, then developer, and then business. So basic is just very basic. We will have access to the forums, white papers, but no, we can't take any kind of support from the their AWS support team. So developer access generally is required. Like if we are developing anything in the dev environment or the Q environment, then we can get the developer access, right? So business is like if our application the production, not in the development or the Q environment, but in the production, then we can go with the business. So enterprise is even more advanced. So enterprise we can get like more support from them, so they can provide some their own labs. So that comes the enterprise. So that we need like guidance for a particular specific use case, contextual. So it come under the business, like the application is the provide, and we need specific use case guidance. So that is the business. So which security service to AWS is enabled for all AWS customer by default with no additional cost? So which service is enabled? That is the security service. So secret manager is to store the secret, no. And firewall, so it is not automatically enabled. AWS Shield. Shield is to prevent from the DDoS attack. So in the Shield, we have two options: standard and advanced. Advanced. So advanced is based. Standard is automatically by default available, like active or enabled for the AWS customer to protect the AWS application from the DDoS attack. So which of the following entities applies patches to your underlying OS for AWS Aurora? So AWS Aurora is, we know, is a kind of a database and it's like fully managed. So who will apply the patches on the OS? Definitely we are not going to apply. The AWS team will apply. So AWS team product team automatically will apply. A company runs an application on a fleet of EC2 instance. Okay. The company wants to automate the traditional maintenance job of running time assessment and checking OS vulnerability. So they want to check some OS vulnerability and some security assessment. So we have the inspector. So inspector is just referred to you for the security assessment. Shield is for the DDoS attack. Mac is the machine learning. So guard duties like also the security, but not for the security assessment. So Amazon inspector is the security assessment, which find the vulnerabilities. An e-commerce company has deployed an RDS instance in single availability zone. Okay. The engineering team want to ensure that in case of AG outage, the database should continue to work. So if you read the question, they said that right now they deploy the database in only one zone, but they want to make sure if that zone has an outage, their database should be available. So if they want their data should be available, they have to deploy the database in the multiple zones. All right. So which option is the multiple zone? So this option is the multiple. Configure the database and RDS in multiple zone with automatic failover to the standby. So this looks correct. Which AWS service can be used to facilitate organization change management, part of the reliability of? So maybe like one question you can expect from the AWS well architect framework. So they said like they have to do some organizational change management. All right. So which service they can use? So change management, configuration, CloudTrail, and CloudWatch. So facilitate organization change management. Which of the following AWS service should be used to automatically distribute incoming traffic? So that is the load balancer. Which of the following is a benefit of the AWS managed service such as Amazon RDS? So what is the benefit of Amazon RDS? There is no need to optimize database instance type. Totally wrong. There is need to optimize. So whenever we are creating a database, we can mention whatever we need. We can only mention that. The customer need to patch. Totally wrong. The performance of AWS managed RDS is better. Yes. The customer need to manage database backup. No, it's automatic. An IT company is planning to migrate from on-premise environment to AWS cloud. Okay. So what are the benefits if they move from on-premise to the cloud? Will the project manager salary decrease? No. Developer salary decrease? No. Data center physical security expenditure definitely decrease. SaaS application license? No. Computing hardware infrastructure advantage definitely decrease. So it's very easy question. So AC2 is infrastructure as a service. A multinational company has just moved its infrastructure from on-premise data center to the AWS cloud. As part of the share responsibility model, AWS is responsible for which of the following? Okay, so like they have just moved from infrastructure to the AWS cloud. So AWS is responsible for which of the following? Configuration, customer application. No, customer application they have to configure. Patching guest OS. It is the guest OS, not the AWS OS. So they have to patch. So physical and environment could definitely for the physical security, AWS is responsible. Service and communication protocols of zone security. So this is like customer responsibility, depend on the security group, how whether they are putting their application VPC or not. Which of the following are the storage service? So storage service is S3 and file storage system, EFS. Which of the following is the recommended way to provide programmatical access? So what is the recommended way to like program access to the AWS resources? Create an IAM user? No. Create multi-factor? No. IAM groups? No. Use access key and like a secret access key. AWS Shield Advanced provides expanded DDoS attack protection from web application running on which of the following resources? Okay, so we can see. So the cloud, like DDoS attack, there's an advanced service. So like it will protect our web application, but when the web application running on which resources? So let's try to eliminate. So Beanstalk is a like fully end-to-end service to deploy the web application. So they have everything. So this is not required. And API gateway is like a gateway interface. Like we want to use one API, but we want some common endpoint, and we want, so like if we do the get request, it will go there. If we do the post, it will go there. So that is wrong. And cloud formation is just a template. So rest two option left. Imagine like Route 53 and the global accelerator. A company uses reserved EC2 instance across multiple units, with each unit having its own AWS account. Okay. However, some of the units are underutilized, their reserved instances, while other needs more reserved instances. Okay. So they can use the AWS organization because this is the property of, because what the question says is like there are like, let's put 10 AWS accounts, and all the 10 AWS accounts like purchase the reserved EC2 instances, and 5 AWS accounts are like they need some reserved instances, and like 5 are like underutilized, they are not using the reserved instances, and some are required more. All right. So what they can do is, if it is a part of organization, if it is a part of organization, one account can take the like reserved instances from the another account. So if use the AWS organization to manage AWS accounts and share the reserved EC2 instance among all units. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the AWS VPC service? Okay. So which is correct? So let's try to eliminate. A security group can have both allow and deny rules. So totally wrong. Security group has only allow rules. NACL has like a network ACL has like allow and deny rules. So this looks okay. NAT instance is managed by AWS. No. NACL can have only allow rules. No, because NACL can have allow and deny rules. So NAT gateway is managed by NAT gateway. So gateway is managed by the AWS. So this looks correct. Which of the following AWS support plans provide access to the infrastructure event management for an additional fee? So again, the like some business plan. infrastructure management for additional fees. A Silicon Valley-based healthcare startup store anonymous patient data in S3. The CTO want to ensure that for any sensitive data discovered to prevent any sensitive data leaks. So there is a Mackie service. Mackie is like Amazon machine learning services, which will use only with the S3, and it will like if by mistake someone put some data and they forget to anonymize it, so it will discover, okay, this is a sensitive data, kindly like anonymize or mask it. A DevOps team at an IT company is moving 500 GB of data from EC2 instance to S3 bucket in the same region. Okay, how much cost they will need to pay? So they don't need to pay any cost because it is the same region and from one service to the another service. So the company would not be charged for this data transfer. Which the following AWS support plan provide access to the online training with self-placed labs. So the labs will be provided in the enterprise level and the training as well. Which AWS service can be used to decouple the components of the of a microservice based application. So decoupling is like basically SQS, SNS. Which AWS Route 53 routing policy would be used to route the traffic to the multiple zones, but how much traffic is routed to each resource? So that is the weighted. So I want to 75% of the traffic to this, 25% to do this. So this is a weighted policy. What are the advantages that AWS cloud offers over a traditional on-premises? Okay, so what is the advantage if we use cloud instead of the on-premise? So make a capacity decision before deploying an application. No, totally wrong. Eliminate guessing. Definitely, we don't need to guess how much capacity we need because it's auto scaling. Provide lower latency, no. Trade capital expense. Definitely trade capital expense because capital means like the money, and we can trade. Trade means like because if we need for 30 minutes for EC2, then we can only pay for the 30 minutes. All right, so it's a variable expense. And increase speed and agility for by keeping servers, no. So these two look so okay to me because we need to select only two. Which of the following are the advantage of the cloud computing? Okay, spend money on building and maintaining data center. It's the cloud computer, so data center from where it's coming to the picture, wrong. Allocate a few months of planning for your infrastructure, totally wrong. Trade capital expense, correct. Benefit from massive economics of scale, correct, because if we reserve the instrument for 3 years 4 years, then we can even get more. Very go global in minutes and across the world, definitely correct. We need to select three. A company wants to identify the optimal AWS resource configuration for its workflow so that the company can reduce the cost. So we can use the compute optimizer. So compute optimizer is one of the service which will work on your Lambda for EC2 for auto scaling group. What it will basically do. So let's suppose you are using an EC2 instance and you use the maybe like M5 across large, so maybe 128 GB of like RAM, but you are just executing a very simple web application, a hello world web application. Correct. So for that hello world application, you don't need that, like there is no computing, no nothing. So you can run even a very T2 tier application, right? So so this optimizer will scan our like EC2 Lambda and will tell us and will recommend us like you are using very less, you are like using this very application only low amount, but you have allocated this amount of memory, so better try to migrate your application to so lower instance, so it will reduce the cost. So that is the like compute optimizer. A web application store all its data to the Amazon S3 bucket. A client has mandated that data can be encrypted before sending to the Amazon S3. So they want the client has to send the data to the Amazon S3, but it should be encrypted, but before sending to the Amazon S3. So encryption is enabled by default. No, and encryption is never enabled by default on Amazon S3. Enable client-side encryption, definitely, because we have to before encrypt the data before sending. So we need to the client has to encrypt the data. Server side no, because if it is the server side, then how it could be the before sending? So if it is after sending only. A unicorn startup is building an analytics application with support for a speech-based interface. Okay, the application will accept speech, from the user and convey the result to the speech. So we need to take the speech and we need to convey the result to the speech. So how we will do? So we have the two service, transcribe and the poly. So transcribe is used to convert speech to text and the poly is used to text to speech. So we can use the transcribe. So there is a one option, translate. So don't confuse with it. Translate and transcribe is a different. So translate is like translate the language like English to Hindi, Hindi to English, but not speech to text. A research group want to use EC2 instance to run a specific computation application that has a fault tolerant. Okay, so application is fault tolerant. The application is high performance hardware that provide fast input output performance. Okay, as a cloud practitioner, which you will, so we will use the instance store. So because of two reasons, one is they said the fast input output. So instance store will can be attached with the EC2. So it's not a like external service like EBS or S3 or EFS, because latency will be like high. Instance store within the EC2. So the latency will be low. So the fast input output operation along the application is fault tolerant, because we know if we attach the instance store, data can be like if there is anything wrong with the instance store, all the data will be lost. And if the old data will be lost, so our application should be fault tolerant. So if any fault will come, our application should be fault. So it says our application fault tolerant, and we need the fast input output. So instance store is the correct answer. A startup wants to migrate its data and application from on-premise data center to AWS cloud. Okay. Which of the following option can be used by the startup to help with the migration? So they want to migrate their data. So like which option they can use for their help? Can they raise the support ticket? No. Can they use the APN like using utilize APN like partner network? So there is a different partner network like consulting services like infrastructure. So they can use the professional services as well. Consult moderators? No, moderators definitely not. AWS trusted advisor is one of the service. Nothing related with that. So which of the following is the incorrect statements regarding scaling? Okay. Fault tolerant is achieved by vertical scaling. Totally wrong. So first is incorrect. Vertical scaling means like you created one EC2. Earlier is 5 GB, then you increase to 10 GB, then 30 GB, then 40 GB. You are just increasing the CPU capacity. So how it could be the fault tolerant? So fault tolerant means if one system go down, you have the another system up and ready. So horizontal scaling apply by adding more instances in the pool. Definitely correct. But fault tolerance is achieved by the horizontal scaling. Definitely correct, because we have the multiple instance. So if one go down, we have the another available. Vertical scaling imply by adding more CPUs. That is also correct. So first is wrong. Which of the following is correct regarding removing an AWS account from AWS organization? So basically, what is AWS organization? AWS organization contains the multiple AWS accounts. So if we want to remove the AWS account from the AWS organization, what is the criteria? Can we remove or can't we remove? Or if we remove, what is the criteria? So basically, there is only one criteria. If that AWS account can operate as a standalone, then we can remove. So if the AWS account must be able to operate as a standalone, then it can be removed. A big data analytics company is moving its IT infrastructure to on-premises data center. Okay, the company has some server-bound software license. Okay, and they want to use on AWS. So which EC2 instance we will recommend? So because they want to use the server-bound. So question is server-bound software. So is a reserved instance, dedicated instance, on demand instance, nothing going to use. Only the dedicated host will be the correct answer, because host means the server. So if we spin up the EC2 instance, we don't know on which server like it will spin up. So if we don't know on which servers it is going to spin up, so how we can use the our license on that server, because they want to use their license on the server. So we want a whole server. So let me show you. So if you go to the AWS console, na, so in the AWS console, if I go to the EC2, so in the EC2, you could see the instances. So if you spin up any instances, you don't know on which server it will spin up. But there is an option of dedicated host. right? So in the dedicated host, you can allocate the dedicated host. Dedicated host means you are allocating the whole server to you. If you are allocating the whole server, then like you can use the uh, like you can use the server license. Okay. So next question: which of the following AWS support plans provide access to guidance, configuration, troubleshooting to AWS interpreter to the third party software? So enterprise, because it's a high level, definitely it will provide. Business, this is also the high level. So corporate, there is nothing like a plan. So it's a distractor option. Which of the following AWS support plan provide access to only 7 core checks? Right. So there are many core checks. So which plan will provide the 7 core checks to AWS Trusted Advisor? So in the AWS Trusted Advisor, now it will do the performance scan, security scan. So let me show you that as well. So if you go to the uh, Trusted Advisor, AWS, so it will like do the performance scan, security scan. So there are so many scans. All right. So like it's mentioned like one action is required, action recommended. So it did the security scan, that's why it is saying okay, this action is required, right? So I am in the basic plan, so still like I am able to see this, right? But if we can upgrade like our plan to get all the checks, but we are in the uh, basic plan, right? So the only 7 check can provide in the basic and the developer. And corporate, there is no corporate plan. So enterprise and business, if we take these two, then we can get all the checks rather than the only 7. Which of the following the serverless? So lambda is the serverless. Which of the following are the correct option regarding the AWS global infrastructure? Okay. So each AWS region consists of one or more availability zones. No, each AWS region consists of two or more, because if it is only one availability zone, then we store the data into the S3, and it's a property of the S3. They have replicated the data into some another zones for to make it durable. So each availability zone consists of one no no. Each AWS region consists of two or more availability zones. So minimum 2 zones. Okay. And each availability zone consists of one or more discrete data. Definitely, zone means we have the data center there. So one data center should be there. So two options are correct. A multinational corporation wants to get expert professional advice on migrating to AWS service. So which following entries would you recommend? So they want professional advice. So it's the consulting partner. They want some advice. So trusted advisor is just a like no a consulting partner basically. So finish the test. So we have one question wrong. So let's review that question which is wrong. So incorrect. So this question is wrong. Okay. Okay. For the credit one is wrong. In which we have the two credits. So one is correct. Like credit one is applied, definitely correct, which expire in July and which is used on the EC2, but they can't use on S3. The credit 2 is applied to the remaining $900 of EC2. Okay, but why can't they use the credit on S3? Let's see the explanation. Credit 1 is applied which expire in July. Okay, that's the option. Credits are applied in the following order. Soonest expiring, definitely correct. Least number of applicable products. Oldest credit, okay, or soonest expiring, okay. Least number of applicable products. Not sure what is this. For the given use credit one is applied which expire in July to the major EC2 charge, which leaves you with $900 major EC2. Okay. The credit is applied on the remaining $900 major EC2 usage. Hmm. Not sure how they say that like this, because this is okay, option 3. But I thought like because the $100 is for both S3 and the EC2. So they can be used either on EC2 or the S3. All right. So either they can use EC on EC2. If they use on EC2, then for $900 they have to pay from their like pocket. Or what I was thinking earlier, or they can use like for the S3, then for $100, 400 only out of 500 for pay for the S3. But this looks wrong. They said, okay, this correct, but then credit 2 is applied. Credit 2 also have the option, like which have the $50. They will apply to the remaining $900 of the EC2 usage. Okay. So, okay, no problem. So that's the end of the video. So thank you.